Welcome to the station crew. Enjoy your stay.
Surgery has now been added to Space Station 14. To begin this process, we will first... Yeah, I can't fucking do a little tiny impression for shit, dude. Hello everybody, my name is Macho. I've been developing surgery for the past month or so for Syndicate Station, with the hopes of sending it to most of the Einstein engine servers at some point in the future. So, what is Shitmed? Shitmed is the name of this project for adding surgery, wound and essentially all of the fun goodies from 13 to the game. The name comes from the fact that, well, it is, for the most part, shitcode. Let's be real for a second. So, it is designed essentially as a stopgap while either Wisdom or some other upstream that's definitely more experienced than me at coding this shit gets their shit together. Because their code will definitely be better than my shit code. Right? So for that purpose, a big focus in Shitmed is going to try and minimize changes to the core code of the game so that we can maximize compatibility when the time to remove it comes. Or at least, that's the main idea. We'll see how it pans over the months. Another thing, what is E, or Einstein Engines? So, Einstein Engines is a separate upstream. It's a hard fork of Wizards then, that is run by a couple of other servers. So, without further ado, let's start demoing features. So, first off, we have targeting. So, on the corner of your screen, you can notice that we have a targeting doll. This targeting doll essentially just shows you all the parts of a humanoid entity that you can attack. So, those can be the arms, the legs, the chest, and the head. Currently, there's not much of a motive to attack the chest, though there will be once I introduce organ damage to the game. So, for any given humanoid entity, you can attack any of these 6 parts. So, let's spawn in an E-sword maybe. And let's go for the head. So, we do damage. There is a chance that the part itself will take damage. The head itself has the lowest chance of any part to take damage when the entity is not on crit. However, once they're in crit, it's pretty easy to sever it off. And as you can see here, we have their head. Their head also contains their brain and the eye. As you can see here, let's just take it separately so you can see the contents. And so you see, we have the brain and the eyes. And you can actually give the head as well. Ship up right anytime now. There we fucking go. And you can take your brain home. Now, of course, you can also attack any of the other parts of this entity. Let's unbuckle it for a second. It already is, cool. So let's say we want to sever an arm then. Their arm is fucking gone. And if you look at the strip menu, they actually don't have that hand anymore. And lastly, for the legs. These ones have the most dubious utility right now because of the low crit thresholds. However, in the future they should be a lot more annoying if they got cut off. When you cut off one entity's legs, they'll trip and they'll walk slower. Let me just take over the entity for a second. Rejuvenate it, and we control it. As you can see, we are pretty fucking slow right now. Ignore the fact that it has no head. This is just for testing purposes. And as you can see here, we have a body status cell that indicates to you the state of all your parts. The chest is very badly damaged, to the point it's almost popping off. You have no head, no arm, and no leg anymore. And if I start damaging myself, the state of it updates live. So it's getting closer. You see that it's very badly damaged, and if I hit it just once more, it pops right off. You may be wondering how this entity is still alive, and space was magic. Now it's essentially unable to move or stand up no matter what I do. So let's go back to my character again and take control over this thing. So now that we have this disembodied doll here, let's get rid of it, because we don't need it anymore. There is another interaction when it comes to part severing. So let's spawn in an ERT operative right here, and let's cut off their head. It takes a few attempts because the heads can actually dodge. And as you can see, The head is there, and they have dropped everything associated with the head, which means mask, gloves, helmet, goggles, and all that stuff comes off. The same thing happens if you remove both of the arms, so let's cut off both of them. And as you can see here, they drop the gloves, and both of their arms are off. Now let's go for the legs. And the boots come off as well. So essentially, this allows you to accidentally remove the slots out of anybody, or intentionally. Essentially, they're only left with what can fit on their torso, and on their jump skirt as well. The pants are still visible because they are part of the jump skirt sprite, so there's not much I can do on that front. Sorry. Another thing to note about part targeting and severing is that each part individually has a percentage to dodge if you are not dead, crit, or in lying down. The head obviously has the lowest chance because, well, removing your head is essentially an instant kill, so it is more difficult to sever and also more difficult to hit. At some point in the future, if you fail to hit the head, you'll also deal no damage to the entity because, well, you're taking a gamble essentially by targeting it. As for the limbs, they also have a low chance to dodge, but it can happen, and the chest is essentially 100% chance to hit. In the future, if you hit the chest, I want to also make it so that you take damage to your organs internally. Another multiplier that we have is for weapon types. So, Slash is the best at severing, Blunt is kinda good at it, but it's not very good, and Pierce is terrible at it. And every other damage type by default is 0.5F or whatever other value you want for them. You can define this yourself on your server. Another interesting thing about this is that if your own parts are damaged, you can actually heal them yourself without a doctor. So let's say that I hit my right arm. Let's bring it down to orange. And I grabbed some sutures. So let's put those in. Let me grab some more. And let's just keep it going. You can see that now it turned to light green. And it's now fully blue. Blue doesn't necessarily mean fully healed, but good enough for your purposes. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of this, shall we? Fucking surgery. So, let us spawn in a useful entity so we can show you guys what the surgery menu looks like. We buckle you here, and we grab any surgical tool. Let's say, maybe a scalpel. As you can see, the surgery menu looks just like the one in RNC, because it is. I basically just expanded it by a lot. We have a few surgeries available to us. We can operate on each of the body parts, and each of them has a series of surgeries that are available to them. On the head, you can open incisions, remove brains, remove the eyes, remove the head, or close any openings. On the torso, you can insert things on the chest. You can open incisions, the ribcage, remove their organs, or close the incisions. And for the other parts, there's not much special yet, just open, remove, add parts. The usual. So to demonstrate surgery, let us first have the entity pick up a couple of things. So there's a few rules to surgery. First off, the entity needs to be sedated, or you will be taking a lot of damage as a result, as well as hits to your mood, which is a system that we have over here in our set engines. So grab a breathing mask, we put on a nitrous tank, and we turn it on once we lay down on the bed. Do not turn it on before you lay on it, because you'll just flop on the floor like a fucking idiot. We turn it on, we wait for us to fall asleep, and there we go. Now let's go back to our character. And for our character themselves, we need two things. There is malpractice in this right now. You will deal toxin damage or sepsis damage to people if you do not have a mask or gloves. Currently, I have gloves, but I do not have a mask, so let's grab one. There we go, we should be protected now. And let's just grab some of our tools from the surgical duffel bag. And we drop him there. So let's begin by demonstrating maybe... let's remove their brains. So first, we cut up with a scalpel. We then grab a retractor. They currently look the same as the hemostat. I'll update this price at some point. But I digress. We clamp the bleeders. Now we saw through the bones. Clamp the bleeders again. And the brain should pop out. Off we go. Now, if I want to, I can swap it with another entity's brain. Let's take the one from the uterus that I beheaded a while ago. And let's insert it in. So, we add this organ. We seal the wound. And voila. And that's the basics of surgeries. There's a few others that I'll be demoing in this video and putting down timestamps on the video for. But I have a special surgery for you guys featuring a guest. So stay tuned for that. So here we have a special patient that some of you may know. So first off, let's put our mask and gloves again, because I took them off like an idiot. And let us grab our tools. So we are going to demonstrate the cavity implant surgery. This one allows you to insert anything into a cavity. We first cut with a scalpel. We then retract the skin with a retractor. We clamp the bleeders. Then we need to open the rib cage by sawing through it. And that should be it. Now we can insert or remove anything from their cavity. So let's take this funny grenade and put it in there for them. I'm sure they'll use it nicely. And with that, we then need to close their bones and mend the rib cage. So for that, we need to use the bones. Oops, I forgot to add the bone gel item to the game, so let me just spawn that in. There we go. We mend the rib cage and we close the incision with the cautery. And there they go. Now you need to wake up the patient. So you can do this by either having them turn off their internals themselves, which they can do while asleep because it's a bug, or you can turn them on yourself and spam wake up on them. Whoops, I turned on his internals again. And anytime now. There we go. A successful surgery.
Proud of my work, I gave him a hug and set him loose on the world. But just before he left medical, he turned around and said, "Thanks, nigger."
So next up we have part manipulation surgeries. So let's say that for whatever reason, this uterus doesn't want the right arm anymore. So we need to open an incision on their torso, retract their skin, clamp the bleeders, and now we can remove the part. So we saw through the bones, clamp the bleeders again, and we amputate the thing. And their arm just pops right off along with the hand. But now, for whatever reason, Uris regrets it and wants their right hand back. So let's just go and add it again. So we need an open incision. We close it like idiots, but we can open it again. We retract the skin, clamp the bleeders, and we insert the part. Then seal the wounds, and you can notice that they have an arm, but they do not have the hand, so we need to attach it as well. We cut with the scalpel. We retract the skin. Clamp the bleeders. We insert the hand. And now if you look at the Uris, he has his hand back. Isn't that nice? So now we have little Uris. He's got a lot of damage. Let's try and heal him up. So let's go and look at their torso. And we got these 2 surgeries, 10 bruise wounds and 10 burn wounds. So we first make a careful incision on them. we repair the damaged tissue, and as you can see, the surgery goes on its own and it's far faster than a topical. Let's grab a health analyzer as well. And you can see the damage going down pretty quickly. The healing value is currently our static value, which is also added to a bonus of your entity's damage. It gives you a lot of a bonus if the entity is still alive, but if it's dead, you get only a fraction of it. This will only get better once science gets upgrades to it, based on the operating table and the console. So as you can see here, we're making pretty steady progress. Its last damage is almost gone. And we are repairing his chest very well. We should be almost done now. Now, they also have some burn wounds, so let's go and help them with those. And there we go, we have fully healed the damage. However, the surgery will continue until the body part itself is fully healed. So, if we look at the entity via the developer commands, and look at their torso, you can see it's still pretty fucking damaged. So let's keep going for a little bit more. And there we go, their wound has been fully healed and we can heal them. And if we look at the wrist and take over him, he shows up as dead. Let's just rejuvenate him. Everything is fine except for his arm because, of course, we didn't heal yet. And their boot is a bit fucked. Oh, there he goes. And now we go into the organ surgeries. So we already looked at one at the start with the brain transplant surgery. However, there are eye transplants, heart transplants, lung transplants, and liver transplants. So again, let us revive Eurus here, and let's poison him a little. So the organ surgeries right now do not have any meaningful interaction with the bloodstream systems and complicated things that you would expect from something like, say, Baymed. However, what they can do right now is help you to bring back an entity that is very much fucked. So let's edit the solutions and let's add a bunch of maybe Yamatatsu. 30 units of the fucker just to be certain. And let's have it here. As you can see, he's getting really poisoned. Now we can just wait for this to seep in a little bit more until he's dead. Now, since I am a psychopath and I hate waiting, I can do a special trick. As you can see, Imagine a stasis bed actually makes the metabolism of the entity go super fast. For whatever reason, it's not displayed though. Kinda weird. So let me just throw this shit out back. And let's get back to work, shall we? So we have an entity here that's got a lot of fucking poison. Now, as you know, entities do not metabolize chemicals or synthesize them when they are dead. So what do you do with these guys? Normally you would clone them, but cloning on Einstein Angels is a lot harder because they take genetic damage, which is even harder to heal than fucking poison. So what we do in this case is we get a new liver. Now for this you normally use another entity called a biofabricator, which is this guy right here. It takes in biomass and it can manufacture a lot of the parts for any entity. So for convenience, let's just spawn it in. Biosynthetic liver. Let's also spawn in the lungs, the eyes, and the heart. They are visually not very different from the normal ones as of now. They'll get new sprites at some point in the future. Let us go with the scalpel here, and let's start doing our surgery. So, we want to remove the liver, so we want to go with the scalpel. Extract the skin, plant the bleeder. Now we open the ribcage. That's the bone soap. And now we want to plant the internal bleeders. And finally, remove the organ. So we have this lever here that is basically useless. Let's now grab the new one. So we want to introduce this thing here. As you can notice, I also intentionally wasn't wearing a mask, so I would stack up even more poison damage. As you can see, it's still a little bit high. Let's go and insert the lever then. We add it, and as you can see, all of the poison damage is gone. The value that it heals is essentially all of it. Replacing the liver will essentially heal any entity of poison damage. Now, if we want to demonstrate this, we can also grab the lungs and now do asphyxiation damage. So let's revive Eurist again. Sorry, buddy. And let's give him a lot of fucking Heartbreaker now. Whoops. And some Lead Swing too for good measure. So you can see his second asphyxiation really fucking quick. Yep, off he goes. Now we buckle him again to the chair, and we are going to replace his lungs. So we do the same procedure we did earlier, so I'll just jump cut this. Now we have inserted the lungs, and let's seal their wounds. Now that the wound is sealed, let's look at their health. All of the asphyxiation damage is gone. They still have some blood loss, but you can treat those with normal topicals, this is. Lastly, we have the special surgeries, which are heart and eyes. Heart and eyes actually treat two things that normally require special chemicals, those being eye damage and rot. So for eye damage, let us spawn in a special entity, a bulb cannon. Bulb cannons in this codebase are especially susceptible to eye damage. So let me take control of this thing, and let's start spamming flashes on myself. For now, very much fucked in the eyes. Let me just clean up this mess, and onto the operating table we go. So we remove the Eurist here, throw the organ out, and we buckle up. I don't really care about anesthetizing this guy anyway, so I'll just fucking do it like this. First off, we go to the head. We want to remove their eyes, so we need to open an incision. We remove the eye. Clamp the bleeders, and off it goes. Throw that thing out. And we insert the new eyes. Here we fucking go, and we seal the doors. There you go, Popper. Now let's go and look at them. As you can see, their eyes are fully healed, there's no funky filter anymore, and it works just fine. Lastly, we have heart transplant surgeries. So heart transplants are used as a way to bring back round removed corpses. In this case, we have this little salvage corpse here. It's starting to bloat, so we can transplant their hearts if we want to get them back to a good state for whatever reason. So first off, we open an incision on the torso. We retract the skin, grab the bleed. Saw through the bone, prise their bones open, and we remove their heart. Grab the bleeders, remove the organ, off it goes. Now we go and insert the heart. We seal the wound, and as you can see, we have no warning about the fresh corpse and whatnot. So essentially, their corpse is now in a fresh state because of having a working heart. They're fucking dead anyway. And yeah, that's it for all the surgeries. Thank you so much for sticking along with all this video, and if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please leave them in the comment box. I'm always open to feedback. Currently, my idea with Shitmed is to start working towards wound med, as in proper wounds, bone fractures, and the like, along with cybernetic implants, as we have them right now in Einstein engines, but they are not tied to your body parts. But if you guys would like to see any other change in direction and the like, just leave enough feedback and I'll listen to it. Thanks everybody, take care and goodbye.